Motherfucker, I was just about to hop in here too.
Motherfucker. Oh, shit.
How's your day going, man?
Long. Fucking long.
I'm still on my first monster.
I'm on my second Gatorade. That should tell you how fucking toxic of a morning it's been.
Going through them fluids.
Yep.
Hey, you know what's fucked up?
What?
Could be worse. You could be hearing a woodpecker somewhere and don't know where that woodpecking sucker is. Where's he at?
Yeah, that would suck,
Pecking.
but I also have I have
Well, sucker just
means.
pecked on my fucking house.
I have means to take care of them and not alert the neighbors.
See, I'm too close to my neighbors. They'll know even if I popped one of them non-lethal things. Because, I totally would. And wouldn't you get... Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, I could use, like, water or something.
If only my paintball gun still worked. But that thing's been long toasted. Did I get your ping? Yeah, on the outer plane dating sim bullshit. Yeah, I saw the patch notes on it. Okay, so I updated my list, and now it makes this easier to deal with because I've got just a to-do list that tells me what I need to grind and where I need to grind.
You re-updated your list?
My alchemy sheet? Yeah, here, I'll bring it up on stream real quick for people to see.
Yeah, I will pull it up and stop watching The Boys.
The Boys. All right, here. Let's see here. Meld. Layers. Display. Capture the source.
Oh God, there's a sheet.
Yeah, let's do this. Done.
And so your negative numbers is what you're needing right now, basically.
Yeah, here, I'll kind of walk through this too. Okay, so if we look over here, so the way I've got this set up is this is my average gather. So this is based on my Garmoth data. And then this is how much is left, and it's picking it up from page 4 over here off of the need numbers. Let me scroll over. I don't think I picked it up. It picks it up from the need numbers over here. So then when you come over here, this is the the mushrooms that you have to farm. So you get roughly 3,000 on a gather, plus minus 100 or whatever. Don't really read too much into the exacts. Truffles, you get roughly 4,200 to 4,500. That's done now. These are all the mushrooms that you would buy, so you wouldn't need to deal with any of these. And then saps, this is where it's telling me how much sap I need and how many runs we need. So the two biggest runs that we need is realistically we need to do birch. And then cedar isn't as bad. Now the reason why pine looks worse is because pine isn't directly gathered. It's not like this is one of those that I go out and I chase the pine tree. I get it through doing cedar. I get it through doing a little bit of the birch. I get a little bit of this through doing
The snowfield.
Yeah, the snowfield. So I get it passively so that I don't need it. But birch is probably the biggest offender here, but it cuts down on how much ash I actually need to go gather. So this number goes down by just gathering birch. So that's probably where we're gonna go to go knock this out. Probably knock that out. But I wanted to update this so that it made it easier for me to see what I needed to gather. Because like it looks like for me, the things that I need to like heavily focus on is that and like wolves are going to be like the two things. I gotta hunt wolves for roughly 3 hours, which isn't bad. I don't mind. Um, Hello there. Yeah, so the reason why birch equals ash is because if we bring up the let me bring this window back into something not fucking crazy. Try to get this window a little bit better, but still reasonable there. Why I say that is so if we look at Ash Wolf Hills, we roughly average 22,000 to 25,000 sap, depending on a Faru's, really, when we go out and we gather ash. So, like, we know that number pretty well. But then we look at the birch, which is eastern border, but for some reason, I swear I'm missing birch sap. Because I thought I recorded an hour of this. Either way, you're getting at least 14,000, and you're gonna get around 6,000 to 8,000 birch sap or ash sap while you're out there. Oh, I know. I fucked up this run. That's why I didn't record it. I had a bunch of Caphras and shit in my inventory. That's why I didn't record the birch run. So yeah, we'll go run this. But yeah, this is gonna we'll actually be gathering the pine though as well. So we can get 6,000. So if I need to do 3 runs of this, that's roughly 18,000 birch sap. Or 18,000 ash sap while we're gathering that birch sap. And it's literally a Faru difference at that point. Do we get in a Faru while we're sucking on the ash? If we get a couple of those, in 3 hours, I'll end up with most of the ash doing it. In the worst case scenario, I run 1 hour of ash just to fuck it, and we're done. So that's why birch prioritizes over ash, because we can guarantee 22,000 almost on the average. My hunting crystals are this now. So when I go hunting, I use this crystal setup. So, I guarantee that my back attacks are on my quests, and if I don't have my main gear, then the upper crystals fall off. But I use the crystals of mysterious darkness for the 24 back attack damage, and then just the mastery breathing Vidur crystals and the Gen Dawn EXPs. So, and then I run full gathering. Actually, I mean, let's go hunting and I'll show you my hunting setup. I run full gathering buffs when I go hunting. So you don't want to run the like, we'll do an hour of hunting. I'll go knock out one of those wolves, and I'll go do and then I'll go do an hour of birch. So get my donkey gear because we want the EXP. What exactly are you doing so I don't, like, overlap you on that channel? I don't want to overlap. I don't want to overlap Trinity on a channel. So if he's grinding wolves, I don't want to be on top of him. On Olvia server? Okay, cool. Okay. So I'll show you the full setup and how I run it, and it does make a difference. So you want to use so you want the gathering artifact with the drop the gathering drop rate. So Yawning Hedgehog with gathering drops. We're gonna run hunting crystals with the mysterious darknesses, and grab this. And pop it on. All right. So when it's all said and done, it looks like this. And my hunting mastery is 2140 right now. And we're going to be running Sweet Fig Pie for the gathering drop rate, and we're going to be running Rough Labor and Life EXP with back attack damage, Lethal Assassin. I could run a Lara's Tea, but I'm trying to save these. It would be an extra 10% drop chance for loot, so we might. I'll run the church buffs, but I'll run Life EXP, and I'll at least run the Giovanni on this. But gathering drop chance increases the actual materials, which is fucked. Let's see. It's who's faster? Sweet Fig Pie and fresh whale meat salad are the two foods I run. I haven't really been able to get the balls to use my whaling foods, which is the Calx fermented wine with that as well. And King of the Jungle. Because you can only rotate so many, so the best you could do would be... You could only run... You could run the King of the Jungle, but you couldn't run the Calx fermented wine because you gotta have... you can only keep 3 of the buffs up at once. Due to their timers, because they're not all on high-end timers like the orange foods are.
Yeah, my favorite. How they're like 10 hours.
No. I'm talking like the Valencia meal, the Knight's Combat rations, and all that. It's the Elixirs of Labor. So it's the Gathering Drop Chance elixir. So Elixir of Rough Labor. Flowing Time for the Life EXP. And back attack damage for just better back attacks. You could technically also run the Elixir of Destruction, which would give you 2% more all special attacks, so that would count towards critical attacks and the back attacks.
Correct. Yeah, you want that one hunting.
But it's 2%, so it depends on what you're hunting. Wolves don't really need it. I think the back attack is sufficient. But if you get into tankier mobs, then yeah, the tankier you get, like if you're doing rhinos, I would probably run the the special attack. Yeah, with wolves, I wouldn't get to... I mean, they die in 2 to 3 shots anyway.
Yeah, they kind of pointless to use it with them.
So, you can run both, you can run both, of your stones, which we're gonna try today, and see how this goes. I normally don't...
attack one and...
Yeah. And the con.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
It's extra attack speed in the end, so... I mean, that's kind of why you do it.
Which is huge.
All right. So we're gonna grab that. I'm gonna do gather firehorn. Turn that on. And at some point I need to get the bare necessities outfit for her. So I get that extra bullet. And yeah. I think it's, what is it, 1% attack speed on that as well?
Let me take a gander real quick. Fire. Where'd it go? Let's go.
Also, let's go get our AP buff.
Fire and assist. Attack speed.
Yep.
And it gives you hunting EXP 15%.
Yeah, it's worth.
And it also gives you, just by wearing it, the hat is 15% EXP, and the clothes give you 1 more shot.
Yeah, it's worth.
And technically, it's worth it.
Yep.
Or you can be like me and just wait until they give it out for free again.
No, I would do it right now because there's a 1,500 pearl box that gives, like, Lara's Teas, Giovanni Scrolls, Book of Life. Like, it's worth, for 15 bucks, you can get a whole bunch of shit. So I'd take that bundle.
Sure.
But yeah, as long as you crit, I mean, it's pretty much 2-tap wolves. So, I mean, if you ran crit damage, and so if you ran, like, King of the Jungle with this, you could probably, and, like, the Destruction Potion, I mean, you could probably get it to a guaranteed 2-tap. But, I mean, that's kind of pricey to be running.
What's that, a beast strats or a giant strats for the extra damage as well?
You can only run, if you're running normal elixirs, you can't run draughts.
Well, it's a, it's a potion or whatever. It's a draught, but what draught would you be using?
You wouldn't use draughts, you're using individual elixirs. Because it's basically, you're either using that or you're popping a Harmony draught, and I wouldn't pop a Harmony draught for this. So, because you can't stack draughts in normal elixirs.
No.
What the fuck? There you go. Get it above my metal so I can see the crosshair. Damn. Oh, let's get it over with. Because we know we're going to pull it at some point, so just go ahead and kill it now. Asshole bear.
Bear.
God, the stuns on these fuckers keep me stun locked longer than anything else. Yeah, I've been buying Perfumes of Courage on pre-order for a while. I need to get at least 500 before I feel like I'm in a decent spot.
With the envies?
No, Perfume of
Turn them into
Swiftness. No, Swiftness. I meant.
Swiftness. I was like, dude, what?
I've got 500 Perfumes of Courage. So.
Nice.
Yeah. God, I'm getting stunned so much. Like, they're stopping my reload. But yeah, I was doing the math, and I mean, we're getting dumbly close to Guru 50.
As well, dude.
Like, it's kind of in that gray area of if I do all 4 of these runs, will I actually get it? Because the wild card is the EXP off of the byproducts.
Which guru are you talking about? Alchemy?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, because I'm getting close to the crafting requirement, which is, I need, like, 350,000 crafts. So, but that's all at, 16, that's at 16, or 1360, per craft. But I've got a bunch of non-1360 crafts, so I'm thinking that the byproducts may push me to Guru 50. Like, I might get
pretty
four.
nice.
Yeah. So.
Like, that'd be a nice boost.
Yep. Get Guru 50, take that goal off. Can say it's complete.
Check. As far as hitting Guru 50 in Alchemy, what is that supposed to give you every time you do Alchemy?
It's actually just bragging rights at this point for where I'm at. It's slightly better. In terms of, it's slightly better in terms of profitability. But you're looking at, it's only, I'm 5 more mastery levels. So I'll get 5 more ticks on my mastery, which is not enough to really make fuck all of a difference.
True.
So there we go. I was gonna say, come on, pop both alchemy stones. Sitting on 700 plus swiftnesses. Nice. Well, I'm gonna burn through 300 doing just the alchemy. So I need at least 300, and I would like to have another, like, backup 100. So I'm keeping it on cooldown. Purchased. So whenever I get 100, I refresh, put up another 100. I'm gonna try. It's gonna be stupidly expensive. But I mean, I'm gonna get, you know, a couple things from it. I'll get, if I can get Guru 50 off of it, we're looking at
a lot of money too when you're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna get net. I should be getting around 300 and something bill net back in my pocket.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna end up, I mean, here's the thing, when I say net, that's the profit. That's not what the final number. The final number will be somewhere around 475, I think, is really what we're looking at. So I'll have nearly a $500 billion in my pocket.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
And then it's about, where do we reinvest it? You know, obviously I need to buy another 24 billion in Spellbound Catalyst. I'm not gonna let that drop. Just to have on hand. And then after that, I need to see what materials. So
the one stupid stone for the one big stone, the 30 bill stone.
The
Splendid. For doing life skill.
Oh, you think you think I should get the Resplendent Alchemy Stone of life?
I'd almost say so. At the rate that you're doing it, you could just leave that sucker just on and going and not care, because you have enough like mystical spirit powder. In theory, it should make it back. That's just in theory, though. I'm not saying.
Well, okay, so if we look at this from a scientific thing, what are we gaining for the Resplendent Stone? So a Resplendent and a Khan's Heart go together to make what? So it adds the life skill, basically the life skill EXP to whatever the Resplendent is. So
it just adds the mastery. It just adds the mastery to the Splendid, essentially, because the Splendid is better in stats.
Well, so the Splendid is 200 billion. The Resplendid is 32 billion and change. So
maybe not.
It's an upgrade, yes, but it's a 32 bill side grade at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I gain a little bit more gathering mastery. Cool. Or not mastery, but gathering
the gathering item rate.
Yeah, which is nice, but it's not, you know, it's not the Splendid version. The Splendid, okay, I would see that upgrade.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one you're gonna notice.
But the Resplendid, it's an upgrade. I don't need the cooking time reduction, because with every other thing I have, it's not like I'm getting.
You'll never see anything below a second anyway.
Yeah. Where the fuck are my bullets going? Because every time I try to pull the trigger, I'm empty.
You're not reloading full. It's just reloading like partials. And then you're shooting.
Shooting blanks?
Basically. One surprise me none.
But for what I'm going to be doing, I think, honestly...
Yeah, so you're going to have to wait on that stone. Never mind.
Yeah.
Because it's not much of a... I was thinking of the better stone. My bad. It's like, man, the other stone would be nice, but... Nah, think about it. Maybe not. Because, you'd have to click it to get it up to the 200 bill.
Mm-hmm. So, we're gonna walk away with roughly three Debo Rekkas when it's done. So,
Yep, and then it's just taparooskies and taparooskies.
I've actually thought about going ahead and saying we spend the crons on the weapons. Because I was thinking about it going... I'm tapping for deck for what reason? Bragging rights? At that point?
On the...
Accessories?
On the accessories?
Yeah.
Basically, because, I mean, you got to look at it a few different ways. I mean...
It's 1 AP.
You'd be at 390, one might say, if you did everything else.
Yeah.
And had the 5 noves and 1 deck.
So...
And 390 is... yeah, it's up there.
Yeah. But I mean, I was also looking at it from... If we start... Because, I mean, we're not gonna get... You know, we're gonna pity the fucking weapons, so...
You don't really know quite yet. I mean, you could say you might pity it. I would say maybe I might pity it. But it doesn't mean that you are gonna pity it.
I pity more things than
I would just expect it to pity rather than be like, well, it is gonna pity. Now I'd be like, well, it could pity.
Well, I'm more realistic with it. With all the shit that I've enhanced since they put in Agris Fever, it's pitied. It's pitied nearly everything. The only things I didn't end up pitying that blew my mind was my armor. Where I went through and I did the gloves, the boots, and the chest. None of those pitied. But everything else... I mean, look, my fucking horse is about to pity. My helmet almost pitied. You know, I basically call the helmet pity because I still spent more. I spent more than double on it, so might as well say pity.
Yeah, you could have potentially bought it, but at the same time, you would have never have known. Even if you didn't try that, you know?
Yeah.
Because you would have been trying to get the money up and trying to go even more extreme. I don't know how much a whaling piece is.
At that time, it was 100. It was about 170, 160 at the time.
It's the same price as the Debrickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would have been a rough. I mean, it wouldn't have really mattered to you as much, I guess, because you do life skills, so you do make money on the side.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, yeah, yeah.
You basically got to grind it.
Yeah, I usually have to grind it, and I would have just tapped through and just would have counted my blessings. Okay, so I'm doing a hybrid of bear at deer and tanning deer because I want the sharps, but I'm like getting the fluids from the pines and the cedars around here.
Okay.
So hopefully, and I know I'm not getting anything from the tanning part of it, because I definitely do the hunting for the deer. I don't mess around with that. But I'm just trying to get the sharps from the deer, you know.
Yeah.
It's working. It's working. I already got 100 up.
Nice.
Only,
I got
you
a
know,
I got a
20
20
minutes in.
pop on I got a 20 pop today on truffles.
The sharp?
On truffles today, yeah. For the chests.
Uh-uh.
I was like, well, shit. Austin's asking, do you hunt wolves here? Here at Silent Prayer. Or Silent, yeah, Silent Prayers. Or where do you hunt your wolves?
Dude, my ass is gonna do Shadow Lions.
Okay. They
Because
don't, you know
end
they
up-
don't output the same amount of meats and bloods, right?
I am aware, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't use my Agris or anything. I just
You can't use
grind
Agris on hunting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not really there for the resource, you know.
You're just there to shoot shit.
I'm there to just EXP and shoot stuff, and maybe after, you know, 10 hours or something after having done it, I'll look at my stuff and be like, okay, I can do something with this.
Because this is by far the best wolf spot. Which is between Dregan and Mountain of Eternal Winter.
Yeah, that spot, I've seen my dad hunting out there every now and then. It does seem pretty good as far as how much it drops.
Where is it at? Silent Prayer is here in the mountains. So Duvenkroon's here, Elton's here, and we're right here in this little patch below the node. And there's really nothing better than this area. We tested all the wolf spots. So, and we put it up next to Gathering as well. So, Agrist Gathering.
Yeah, you can't be hunting for trying to get blood, so it doesn't matter what it is. It just sucks that they don't have like all the different mobs huntable, like a fox or something.
There is huntable foxes. It's just they have a piss drop rate. I found them. I found them. They are up there in Calpheon. Up on the Balanos mountain range. Basically, you're almost in Olvia, but you're on the Calpheon Portafurious side.
Yeah, that's where I thought they was. I remember them being there.
Like, they're 3-shot mobs, and it's just not worth.
It's ass.
Yeah. So foxes have to be gathered. I haven't tried the sheep down there or the goats where I do the cedar shit, because I don't need, that blood type's overwritten. So, I avoid it. It's just like, I don't want to do, I don't want to do, rhinos. Because rhinos are inefficient at this point. For the blood type.
Oh, what's the alternative?
Wolves. Wolves and rhinos share the same, blood
type?
Yep.
Oh, what do you turn that one into? Because I can't remember right now.
Wolf blood is used raw, and then it's used in Sinner's blood
Yeah.
or
that's what I was
Clown's
wondering.
blood. It's Sinner's blood or Clown's blood. I'll look here in just a second as soon as I get these guys off my nuts.
Yeah, half an hour I had 7,000 stupid hides
Nice.
and over 5,000 in both saps.
That's pretty good.
Okay. I'm not mad about that. I feel like those are okay numbers. Cause I just had to use my storage mate.
Yeah.
Screwed that mini game up.
All right, so wolf blood. The blood that's used for this is there's my alchemy sheet. Tier 1 bloods. It is used in Clown's blood. So.
Blood, okay. Because I think I have enough of each right now, just laying around, and I was like, man, what blood does that go into? Clown. Okay.
Yep.
Funnily enough, I think I gotta make Clown for a stupid quest that's been bothering me.
Nice.
Because you know how those random quests come up? How
Yep.
they
It's
ask you to
clown.
make
It wants you to make Clown's blood, Sinner's blood, or
Yeah.
I think that's it. I don't think it's asked me to make any of the others.
Yeah, I've only seen those three, but mine is Clown right now. I just hadn't made it.
No crit feels bad. I got the back attack, but I just didn't get a crit. There's the critical.
Now, what I have seen and have known is there's a few classes that do get a critical hit rate.
Much easier, yep. And it's Striker and Mystic.
Mystic?
Yep.
Yeah. I was about to say, it's Striker and Mystic.
Yep.
So in theory, they are technically the best classes to hunt with.
Yep. But trying to do the full thing with them, take off the weapon, put on their weapon, hit their class buff, it's fucking annoying.
That would be.
Because you lose your BSR. And, I mean, that's the part that nobody accounts for, is how long it takes you to build your BSR up.
It takes a minute.
So...
You're better off blowing your BSR and then popping the thing after.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But then again, I don't blow my BSR like most people do. I actually save it for when it's useful. And so if I find that there's something like that, I'll find a way to fucking get around it or not do it.
Well, I mean, you have to swap the weapon to the match
But
lock.
I mean, like, that's why I'm saying I just won't do it. I will just do it on a different character.
Yeah.
And just not care, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I
just do it on whoever I'm on. And, you know...
Yeah.
I could absorb it, you know, if I really wanted to, but... I think they need to update the BSR mechanic on the match lock to do kind of what the weapons do, where you can use a 25 shot, a 50%, 100%. Like, you could have the staged viability of it. Like they do with the different BSR skills.
It's true.
But I think that's where they need to get the Marnie or the Manos matchlock, as you keep saying. You know, they need to get one of those.
Yeah.
And put something on it so that each one has a different, you know, reason that you use the BSR.
Right. You know, and I really I unfortunately am gonna continue to think it. I almost want to keep putting in game suggestions until they fucking fix it.
Do it.
To me, I just don't, it doesn't make no sense that they shouldn't have that they haven't put it in. It's just like oh, there's another fuckery. I was enhancing earlier, of course, because my fluid collector was a 12. You know, something you wonder, how come they never fixed the plus 12 to 15 enhancement?
What do you mean?
Why did they leave it so shit?
Oh, I mean,
Why
it's
didn't they fix it after they came out from Pride of freaking 10 or 10?
Because plus 15, plus 12, plus 15 was meant to be
I know that it was meant to be hard. I'm just saying, why didn't they fix it after?
So like now,
I know that it was hard before.
So you're saying once they
fixed it the second.
So now that we're into the deck and stuff, why haven't they fixed that? That's a good question.
Like, why didn't they fix that so long ago when they came out from Pride of Pen? You know, like going to Pride from 15 is.
Well, do you remember? Do you remember when Pride of Pen came out?
I technically wasn't around
okay,
that time.
So
my
that's
friend was on. He said it was like pain and suffering.
So Pride of Pen came out. Like Pride of Pen came out. Let's see here. So Zarka had just started dropping. They had just released the Kazarka weapon. So during that time, it was basically to keep the power creep from just blasting through. And so we're like 3 months into the game, and Pry through Pen drops. Well, no, I mean, you have to realize, most of us were running around with like 50 to 80 AP at the time.
I know at the time, yeah.
And a Tri-Zarka longbow would shit on somebody, or anything like a Pry or Duo Zarka would absolutely crush people. Like, you were a god in the game if you had a Kazarka above Pry. And, like, we're talking at the time, Laverto was really, really good. You're looking at that Uria weapons, where if you had a plus 12 Uria, you were absolutely shitting on people in PvP.
Along with the accuracy offhand or whatever.
Most people were running the AP offhand, the steel. Well, most of us had steel daggers because it was like
steel,
witch and wither.
Yeah, the steel.
So when you look at where it was then, Pry through Pen did not need to be, or the 12 through 15 didn't need to be updated then. Where it needed to be updated was after Tuvala. That's where it needed to be updated.
True.
And I mean, this is from somebody who's lived the red alt negative fail stacks bullshit and all that stuff. But it's like, it was at Tuvala, I think, is where that should have been curved to make it not as bad. Just get it up to 15. Get 15 to be an easier thing now, because it seems like deck through pen or deck, one through deck is the new bullshit.
Right. Or,
so
Pry through deck is now the new fun.
So I could see where coming off of that would be a big deal.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to look at all the stuff that, I mean, yes, most people buy their stuff. I understand it. I mean, you got fools like me who don't care. I'm going to try to buy the base one if I can.
Oh, you need to talk to Narama when he's around. He's a legend at buying shit to enhance it. So
I hate enhancing, dude. Enhancing it pisses me off so bad.
Because he's literally the person. So you're telling me there's a chance?
that's my problem. I'm like, so you're saying I have a chance to at least do something right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, when he came back here recently, he tapped 2 pen necklaces back to back.
Nice.
And I'm like, the fuck?
I mean, I I do get lucky with taps though. Sometimes it seems.
Yeah.
I do get lucky with taps. It seems. But I haven't tried to do anything quite lately, so yeah.
Like, I don't, like, I'm thinking I'd probably go Awaken Weapon, we'll get it Hex, we'd go get the main hand Hex. Because I gotta stair-step them up because I'm playing, you know, Guardian's gonna benefit from the Awakening, and so would the Seraph, you know, because I play Pergatum Seraph for the most part, even though I do actually like the other one better. But, you know, and the Seraph benefits from the Awaken, or the main hand weapon way more, so...
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta walk them up, but I could walk them to Sep probably.
Heck, dude, you could walk it up to Hex and feel pretty strong just from pushing your Awakening and your offhand and your main hand. Like you're gonna feel that shit. But if you push up to Sep, oh man, because you're looking at 4 AP from each one of those pieces going up. I don't know about the offhand quite yet.
The offhand, I'm gonna leave it pen for a while. I would rather achieve Sep on both main and Awaken before I touch the offhand. The offhand feels like that's a that's feeling like that's a once we've kind of hit that wall where the upgrades are too expensive, we bring it up because it's the easier, cheaper upgrade.
Yeah, but it's also the one that everyone has trouble pushing.
Makes sense.
As far as what I see from like streams and other people who do like the videos and whatever, a lot of people seem to have trouble with that one. Even people like the people like Mr. Rapolis, who seems to have really good enhancement luck. He's still stuck on like Sept or something. But if he, you know, a lot of these people, they don't necessarily grind like we do, so who knows?
Actually, a lot of the content creators grind far more than we do.
Well, it depends on who it is, to be honest. Because if you're talking choice, man, that sucker grinds all day.
Well, I mean, he's getting paid. You know, I mean, he's got to think.
Yeah.
He's probably making $3,000-$4,000 a month just streaming. So I mean, yeah, it's his job to grind BDO basically. But this is the thing that, you know, that people have to realize is at some point if he leaves Black Desert, he's fucked as a content creator.
That's true.
He'll lose 70% of his viewership. Can you explain Agris Fever real quick? I don't understand how to use it. When it resets? Okay, so Agris Fever is once you have done all the quests and you have the ability to get the 100,000 Agris, it takes 5 days for it to max out. You're gonna get 20,000 Agris every day at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. You will only see it once you relog to a different character. Once you've logged to a different character, it will show up. Yes. So it takes a quest to get all of the Agris Fever unlocked.
I was about to say you have to go through the Book of Morgrim 1 and 2 in your adventure logbook in the Old Moon logs.
So once you go through and do all the questing of it, so it increases the loot drop. So the trash loot drop. Or if you are gathering, it increases the item gathered. And it applies selectively. It's not applied to everything.
Kill the cat. Kill the cat. Yeah. 3 kills.
So it will basically... So let's say I'm getting 4 sap. And every time I gather, I get 4 sap. In this case, it is, if I go up to a tree and I turn it on, I'm going to get 6 sap, because I'm going to get 50% of what my gather was. How do you use it? You just click the little Agris button, turn it on, it'll start spinning, and that's it. No, it doesn't work in hunting.
I would like to replace my battery with a better battery, so...
Because it doesn't, hunting does not take Agris, so it's useless to use here.
The one that's in my car will probably do just fine in the Mustang. And mine, the one that's in my car has been, like...
But I will definitely use it, when I do saps today. I'll definitely be using it.
Yeah. Or 550.
Might be okay with
I use it for really wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing. So there are certain spots that you'll have to learn that are like Agris inefficient, so very like going to Gyphon Under, you would not want to use your Agris. You'll shit through it in an hour. Or less than an hour. And we're talking the full 100,000.
The only time you use Agris there is if you're gonna kill the main guy. That's about it.
And
like
that's
the middle guy, like
the butcher.
Like when you have like the
butcher.
Yeah, if you have the butcher thing going, just you could turn it on during then, and you can literally have that go for many hours, as long as you remind yourself to turn it off after you kill the big three at once.
Yep.
Because other than that, it's a waste.
But like, I'll give you an idea of kind of how I'm going to use it. So Agris is going to be used during sapping.
Good one.
And then once I start doing alchemy, and I start doing once I get to the actual, like, because I got like 170 hours, 60 hours worth of alchemy to start working on. We're gonna end up grinding 2 hours. We're gonna end up grinding 2 hours for to burn off my Agris, and I'll do that at Ethereum Castle. And I'll make pretty good money doing that. So I can burn through about 55,000 Agris to 60,000 Agris in 2 hours with my grind speed.
Well, right now it's like $80 or $100 about battery.
That's what I paid for the other one.
At that point, you're better off spending the $200 or $300 for.
Just noticed you always have it on, so it hasn't been a waste. Yeah, as long as you're burning it, it's not wasted. I don't use it until I'm ready to use it. But I'm not super good at keeping it burned down, because like when I get into like certain things, I won't go grind it off. Or I'm trying to save it for something that I'll be doing in a day or two, and I'd rather just lose the day or two.
Usually we try to save our Agris for stuff that we know that's like gonna net us good money, because certain spots and certain places just are not worth turning on your Agris Fever for.
Correct.
I mean, hell, for doing the farm, or not farming, but the gathering stuff, man, that Agris, that's wild to me.
Yep.
You get a lot of resources with Agris with that, and I don't think it uses too much, does it? Per
So saps I'm usually using around, in an hour I'm using about 27,000 Agris to 30,000 Agris. It's about on par for what I'm getting. I can't really figure out where the value... I think the value lies better in probably grinding it off versus gathering in terms of financial, because of Adanya now. But if I was to take...
I do learn a lot just with Agris on, or when I have it, and yeah, right now, anyway.
I would say, like... going to Ethereum, yeah, I'll probably get more money there, but doing my... I need the materials more, then yeah, I would rather get the material grind than get the financial grind.
Correct.
So...
like me right now,
Any of these
yeah,
I can do
where
on
am I
seasonal?
at,
You
man?
can...
Trying
I mean,
to-
you can... The seasonal character is not, like, hard locked to the seasonal channel.
No.
So you can come off of the... And you can go to normal channels. So as
You're
long
just
as
not gonna
it's...
get your seasonal loot
Yeah.
from killing creatures and
But,
stuff.
like, most of the book stuff you can go travel wherever you want in the world. Just, you gotta kind of look at what is it gonna be asking you to kill or do. That's
the
gonna...
Agris book.
Yes.
Oh, the Agris book makes you go to Sawson's to get your extra 25k or the extra 10k or whatever. You have to kill 1,000 of them, and then it's Crescent Shrine 1,500, and then you gotta go over to Shrek and Necropolis and kill like I don't know. I think it's like 2,000, and I think you gotta go to Blood Wolves after that.
I mean, that sounds dumbly easy. Gladys, Gift, Chest, Black String.
I think it's 2,500 at Blood Wolves.
Yeah, you can do several of those. The Black Shrine boss stuff, you probably won't. You'll be able to do, like, the base level stuff. I mean, Tuvala Temi is good, but it's not like that. You're probably gonna need
Yeah,
Black
I was
Star for a lot of that stuff.
The Black Shrine stuff, you basically have to have some form of Fallen God gear on you, and some form of Black Stars all around. You need to be at least that 300 AP and that 400 defense. If you're gonna try the just trying the shrines.
But, like, doing Pit of Undying, I've never actually ended up doing that content. I've debated if I was gonna go and get the
Extra 600 crowns a week from it.
Yeah, I thought about it.
I don't know. I mean, I've thought about it too, because it is easy to do.
Starting the Infinite
Just
Pot
not
weeklies.
quick to do.
Nice. Yeah, you want to start working on those. Grinding polys when you can definitely helps, because getting the Atanus elements.
Yeah, you want Atanus elements.
The one that's gonna suck the most is doing Shuriken Knight, but
Yeah.
getting that is gonna be...
It's also a pretty good money grind too at Shuriken Knight, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's still my highest grind per hour. Fucking stupid shit.
You're saying somehow you did really good at Shuriken Necropolis over a lot of places?
It's beat every grind spot I've done because of the 45 minutes I was there. So, because I looted the hard potion piece, on Garmoth, it has it as the highest money per hour spot.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, it's beat every grind spot. Fucking butt munch.
Yeah, you could definitely easily loot it out there. I mean, my ass actually had to go full pity out there, but
Well, I've looted, like, I've done it for most of my friends, taking them out there and run energy on them. Most of them got it off of the full hard drop. But they straight went for the full piece. They didn't ever try to get, like, the pity pieces.
yeah, you get a lot of the pity pieces from doing nighttime anyway.
Plus,
I didn't
it
realize
also
that
helped.
until about halfway through.
It also helped that we they had people
Holy
who
fuck,
had
another brown recluse. Fuck you, bitch.
damn dude. That they had people who had a crack ton of energy to help spawn the bosses. So I was basically spawning bosses as they were killing them. And we were running those for the full night cycle. Is this the fairy strike? Keep exchanging wings until you get a tier 3 till 4, level it to 10. If it doesn't get cheered, deconstruct, restart. Yes, and you only do it on the 4. You don't even fuck with getting a tier, the low level tier. Just go for the big one, and if you don't get the radiant fairies, fucking start over. Do not even bother with a tier 3.
Nope.
Unless there's some secret way you can upgrade it and keep your #1 skill, then sure. But I don't think there is a upgrade.
Nope, just save up your couple hundred of the layer petals and try, and then you don't get it, save up another couple hundred, try again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tier
You have to be
the
done
radiant
with
is the highest one.
Yep, and the only way to beat the odds of RNG is by turning in numbers.
Yep, that's the butt shit part about it.
Yep. It's the
Yeah,
absolute
you'll
shit
need
part.
you'll need to restart the ferry. Yes.
It's not a big deal. You do get a whole bunch of fairy powder out of it.
Because so here's the thing. It's because of what the skills are. So I didn't do any of that bullshit. I got the first radiant fairy I could get, and then I paid this fairy cost me probably $500. All right. Let's just go out and just call it for what it is. This fairy's about $500. Not even gonna fuck with you. Because I was trying to roll for very specific things. And so continuous care gives you the ability to use 30 items. Miraculous Cheers to be able to use your infinite pots on cooldown. Feathery Steps, this is what you're aiming for #2. You want this.
Is the best one.
Because that is extra weight. And it's multiplicative. So for every time any weight you add, it now adds that extra 25% to it when you go over. So that's a pretty big deal when it comes to
Everything.
yeah. So you're wanting to get the miraculous or the continuous care so that you're trying to get those 3 skills. And it just gets the skills yeah, well, you can, and that's the thing, is so that
So the play by doing it for free, all you have to do is just run. You'll have to run through more than likely a couple fairies to get the perfect fairy. But if you're lucky, over the time, you'll get the Thea's orbs for free. And there's events and stuff like that gives them out. You could also get it from the loyalty.
Or swipe when they do events, and they do the value of it doubles.
I never suggest to swipe, but yeah, if you have the money and can swipe, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the other issue: is the more skills it gets, the more expensive it gets in the reroll of that thing too. So it's 1 orb per skill, and once you get all 5 skills on the fairy, it's fucking 5 orbs per reroll. Which
Do you
is
mean 10?
No, it's 5.
It's fucking 10 because that's what it says.
Are you sure it's 10? Because I'm pretty sure it's 5 orbs.
I just did it like I just did it not that long ago for the continuous care.
Holy shit. Did they change the price since I did it? Because when I did it, it was only 5 orbs for that shit. And I rolled my, because I rolled my, I had the flashlight, and I rolled it to the fairies tier.
See, I have... Mine came with the flashlight, the fairies tier, and miraculous tier 4. But it came with a
I don't
suck
really,
skill.
need cheer and feather, though, to start off. Well, so here's the thing. Here's how this works. So you start leveling up you're going to get a fairy, and you're looking for the first skill. That first skill tells you if you're going to A or B or not. So if you the way you're going to look at it is you're allotted 1 junk skill. So you're going to have 1 to 4 on several of these skills, or 1 to 5 on several of these skills. 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. And
It's 1 to 5.
It's 1 to 5 on all of them? On all of them? Okay. So 1 to 5 on all of the different skills. And now you're juggling if what you're going to get. So you might get Miraculous Cheer 3 and Feathery Steps 4. You might get you might get Miraculous Cheer 5, but you might get Feathery Steps 1. So you're kind of in
tier 1.
Yeah, so this is where you're going to have to play the restart game, and basically you're trying to get the better odds here. So you start and you get the Miraculous Cheer 5. All right. Then once you've rolled that, then you're now going, okay, I've got Miraculous Cheer 5. Let me roll for Continuous Care. You're going to, okay, you don't get Continuous Care. You got the fairy. You re-roll it. And that's pretty much how it... So if I get Cheer 2, restart fairy, yes.
I'd personally say restart fairy. Just basically like if you fully level it up and you find that you didn't get any good skills at all, I would say screw it. Keep that fairy around until you get another damn one, and re-roll and re-roll until you keep getting until you find the perfect one.
Yeah, now you see why I spent $500.
Because it takes so much time and that's why people do spend the money.
Yeah, I brute forced mine.
Now you could get lucky like my aunt did.
Well, to be fair, it was actually 4 skills originally when it came out. So
right, because of Brilliant.
Yep. Well, no, it was Radiant, but it was the original fairy actually only came with 4 skills on it. That was the Radiant. Originally only had 4. Then they added the 5th one.
Yep, and then they recently added Continuous Care.
No, that's always been there. They just updated it.
No, that was a recent update.
It's always been there.
Continuous Care?
Mm-hmm.
Where they gives the potions.
Yeah. That's always been there. That's always been one of them.
That was a recent update, like, last year?
They changed the number it would use. So it now goes up to 30 versus 24. That was the change.
I must not have paid attention. So I could have swore it was like a new skill.
It's any green or blue gear as you're grinding in normal zones. You'll get, you'll feed it. So like back in the day for me when we got it, I was grinding Fogan, so I literally kept feeding it a healthy diet of Rosar gear. Every time I looted some, I fed it some Rosar gear.
Hey, that's how I loot. That's how I leveled my radiant up. I was out there goofing off and in that area, and I was trying to, because I realized I could loot gear from certain mobs, and I was like, oh, I could get this gear, and then I realized, oh, the blue gear that I was getting from the Necropolis was really good, so I just went with
Yep.
that. So in the other guy's case, when he's hunting, like when he's killing these 2000 for the Agros Fever book,
Yep.
he's more than likely gonna get a Coom armor,
Yep.
and he can throw it into the fairy then.
Yep. It's just feed all greens and blues into it. You don't give a shit. Just throw it in there. It'll happen.
Yeah, because no one cares about the blue and green gear no more. It's not even worth looking at anymore.
All right. So hour over with. Let's go see what we got. Honestly, I wouldn't try to stress too much about all the time gate stuff because, like, you'll get to it when you get to it.
It's a marathon. Take your time.
Yep. You'll get to most of
No,
it when
no,
you
no.
get. You'll get to most of it. But right now, you're pretty much getting. You need to get out of season. Is kind of like your grind.
Season to Ovia Academy.
Yep.
Do main quests. Make sure you goddamn went through the whole line. Ooh, it's a little bit bigger than a foot. Oh, god damn it. Why do I have to buy an odd size thing?
All right, so for the hour, I got 15,360 of the bloods for that. I got 15,400 meat and 15,298 hides. The bears, I got 871. Bear meat, I got 866. Bear hide, 817. The marmot, 133. It's beefs, I got 119. And hides, I got 118 as well. We got 270 snow leopard hides. 600 and what? Did I read that right? 672 sparks. 632 horns. 21 gem fragments. I got, get to look at those. I got 60 sharps. Got to look at those. I didn't get any breaths. I got 77 hides. 93 hides. And where is it? 113 supremes. I don't see any blemished whole leathers. I didn't get any of those. We did get 4 wolves, 2 of the artifacts, or not artifacts, but the imperfect stones, and I got 1. So I made 1 billion silver this hour doing this.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, considering I got 15,300 blood, which is all that I care about here.
Right.
Which is right on my normal average of what we're making here. So, we're good. I'm 61 full pen, going on vacation for 3 weeks. So I want to stay for the 50% life skill on the server. Yeah, until you get the 50% leveled up on all of the pieces. Once you've crossed over once you've kind of crossed over all the different life skill ranges, which honestly I think you're going to get most of the EXPs done by just doing Olvia Academy. And then you can leave the seasonal and create another character to be seasonal. Any better investments than VOO? Tons, but that's such a complex thing to do. That is not a overly thing. And I personally wouldn't invest into Vanguard. Vanguard's too slow. You're better investing into raw SPX than you are VOO. If you just want a broad, like, 401k kind of thing. Alright. So let's see here. Let's go to storage. Oh shit, I still got my match lock on. No. To actually have a real like long-term investment portfolio, you're gonna have to get into some serious spreads and hedgings, and like I said, that is something very complex that I do not want to get into on stream, because that is definitely a lot of different things you have to do. I would basically be building my own. If you want to basically break it down to brass tacks, you build your own investment portfolio. So it's not just something you just do. You don't just buy one ticker and be done with it.
Yeah, it's bad. Bad investment, actually. Really bad investment.
Well, it's because you're fully invested. So, I mean, you've leveraged everything.
Having all your eggs in one basket is simply a bad idea.
So, okay, I'll give you an idea of, like, when it was a good idea. So, do y'all remember when y'all hearing about the silver explosion, where silver was shooting through the roof? Yeah. So, if you were playing that like a swing trader, you were basically holding a stop underneath what so let's say just to use like fake numbers, let's say silver opens at $70.
Okay.
And you bought into it, all right? You're like, all right, I'm getting into silver during this big explosion. So you bought in at 70. You might drop down to like 68 that day, and then through the end of the day, it rips up to like 74. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to see where the majority of the weight was done. Like, how did the move go? And you're going to look at the different key levels over the hours. So you're swing trading this, so now you're invested long term. So now you're profitable. You got $2. You got $2 on your dollar. Great, cool. So what we want to do is go into the next day, because the next day it gapped up $4. Okay, so now your new stop is the bottom of the gap up. So you now can't lose, or you want to go to the bottom of the gap. So now you've got the gap up. All right, so now the stock climbs throughout the day. Now you're up at $80. So now the next spot you're wanting to do. Now you're going to raise your stop again. So now you're moving up. And you could take, as an example, I did a test and I took $400,000 and it was up to $96,000 when it crested $106 a share.
That's pretty insane.
And
like the actual real world number anyway.
And what in this test, because I was curious on how this works. So this was fully leveraged. It was 100% all $400,000 in on silver, because I wanted to see what the number would turn into. And my stop would have been the opening of that day's gap. So I would have gone in on that up at we're already positive, $90,000. So now you have a couple different mentalities you want to look at. One would be, are you going to do you want to risk any of that for a pullback, because it is getting absolutely astronomically overextended.
Yeah. It would have felt like like at some point it must have felt
But
like it was gonna drop.
Yeah, it felt like it was going to drop every day. And the issue is it shotgun down instantly. So would you tap out immediately and just bang clear it and let it hit the gap from where because it during the day it went up, and then I think it was like 11 or 12. I think it was like 11 or 12 right around noon. It hit 106, and then it was a bloodbath straight down. And I mean, it gapped down like 3 days worth of value. So by having a hard stop on it, I would have sold the 3,000 shares and I would have walked away with like $91,000 profit. But that's swing trading. That's not investment. Like long-term investment is you're doing it for long positions for 3 to 6 months and then you reevaluate.
But that's like with the one thing though, that you can basically put a stopgap or tell it to sell before it hits a certain price. When
yeah. So so here's the issue.
You only get like, wouldn't that be like a day trade or something?
So
like it only counts so many day trades if it was.
So this would have been a marketable order at that point because it would have been a stop order. And because you're doing a equity, it would have had to that stop order could only be executed during the regular trading hours. So
I know that on the site that I use, you only get so many of those per day.
You can.
I was just wondering about that because I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, no, that is day trading at that point. Well, no, that's not day trading because you're basically doing one So here's the thing: you've done one buy transaction, and that a week ago in that example, and you've been letting it climb. All you're doing is moving the stop order up of saying, I don't want it to drop here. I don't want it to drop past here, and it would liquidate the position. There's also another way of doing it is by selling half the position and letting it come down some and saying, okay, do I want to... am I willing to risk some of this for it to bounce back and buy and rip again? Because, I mean, you're profitable at that point. So you could come in and say, okay, I'm willing to lose $5,000 off the top of this. So you figure out where 5,000 is and you say sell half here. If it taps there, it'll sell half the position at that profit level. Then you put the full sell at a further down and say, okay, I'm willing to risk another $10,000 because I believe it's gonna bounce before this, but if it doesn't, I'm still walking away with a nice pretty penny in my pocket. And that's where you would go in and go full into it, is in cases like that where it was just going through the roof. But in a day-to-day investment, no, you're going in and you're basically, like right now, you have to balance crude, you have to balance the semiconductors. AMD is absolutely causing a shit fest today in the stock market because today's their earnings thing. And then you have the normal equities. You've got the whole S&P to deal with. But if Nvidia moves, the stock market's moving with Nvidia. So you kind of have to watch Nvidia. You can't hedge the stock market with gold anymore because now gold is all of a sudden now moving with the stock market, not against it, which is very weird. It used to go against it. So
when did that start happening?
Right when that's right when silver crashed, when the silver, copper, and all the metals crashed in the beginning of February. And it's been brutal. Like, so the paper account, because I did leave it up out of curiosity, it was like negative $120,000 at its worst from where I bought it in at. Like it was a flush. Because, I mean, every day you thought it would bounce back. No, it didn't. It went from $106 down to $54, and then it's been choked between $60 and $75. And it cannot break that right now. Hedge funds have that thing in a death grip currently.
Yeah, I was about to say they're playing they're making good money with that shit if it's going up and
No,
down
it's
that.
range bound. Well, it's range bound at this point, so that it won't go up and it won't go down. Like it's range bound, so there's no investment. They made their money coming down on it.
No, I mean like you said it goes from 60 to 70. Well, I mean that's you can buy and sell it at
Oh, I mean, they only need like $5 because I mean you got to think an average hedge fund is burning 2-3 million share
lots
positions.
of money.
Oh, I mean, God, like some of these positions are astronomical that they run. So let's see. We need somebody in Valia. Um, so yeah, don't just invest into just semiconductors. Don't leverage into like you need to spread it out if you're going to build a portfolio. You want to have some AI, you want to have the semiconductors, you're going to want to have metals, you're going to want to have other just
Ow.
general equities, you're going to want to have enough to protect the investment because it's about growing. Yes, the S&P grows on average 10% a year. Getting into the Russell 2000, you're going to get into some dangerous ass territory with trying to do long-term investments on like the Russell. You don't really want to go into mid-cap for long-term investments. So, Alphabet has been, pretty safe, but I mean that's Google. You got Meta has been back and forth with its AI and shit. You've got you have the Mag 7, which have carried the S&P for so long at this point, and if they have a bad day, it's brutal on your account. So you don't want to mess with that too much, and that's kind of one of those fuck around and find outs. I hate to say it. It is a fuck around and
Yeah,
find out.
that doesn't sound fun.
Like if you're gonna do long-term investing, some of the safest things you can do is don't over leverage, keep your position sizes small, and don't just set it and forget it on one stock. Rotate it out based on what's going on. So the best thing you could have done would have been, like, as an example, as soon as the Iran war shit started, buy into the oil and rode that up while coming out of semiconductors. Not being completely leveraged into that. But while metals were exploding, you should have been more leveraged. You should have had more coverage in metals. But as soon as that flush started to sell out completely, pull out on the floor and then reinvest into other things. I need to get the horse down here. But like, it's curious to see what Tesla's gonna do once SpaceX IPOs, but that IPO is gonna be absolutely a bloodbath because you're gonna be buying it at the highest it's ever been, and depending on what
and it is going to go up.
no, it's most likely gonna go down. Because you got to think it's going to IPO at the high, and most IPOs, what's going to happen is whatever time it IPOs, so between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m., whatever time between basically 9:30 and 3 p.m., they're going to set the whatever time it goes off, and it could be 9:30, it could be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. We don't know what the IPO time would be. We don't know what date it's going to be yet. We assume it's going to be Elon's birthday, which is June 28th, I think, because he's the
Right now you can't invest into SpaceX. Is that
No.
what I'm hearing?
No, that is insiders only right now. That's
Okay.
the shares. The shares that exist for that right now are are for private investments that have been promised. So they're going to get those, but now here's where it comes out. What's the hold on those? Do they allow them to sell those? Because there is a hold typically on most IPOs that protect them from instantly flushing it. Because you got to realize, let's just well, no, this isn't insider trading. This is real like investment. Like, I will invest $10 million into your company, but I want 100,000 shares or whatever whatever that equivalent to is in shares. I want $10 million in shares of whatever you're valued at right now. Or that's kind of how this goes. And here's basically what's going to happen. You're going to, on the day of his IPO, let's say it was evaluated at, his company was evaluated at $100 a share. So that means the opening bell, when the stock IPOs, it's going to show up on the books at $100. Within seconds, that's going to go up because people are going to instantly start buying. As long as there's no ability for insiders to sell, which they normally have them locked out 60, 90 days of the...
Is this like a short-term thing or a long-term thing?
Both. Because here's what you got to look at.
Long-term would be good, but short-term,
no.
like you're saying,
watch.
Would be bad.
So watch this. So this is how this is how most IPOs end up happening. So you have the open, bang. It's going to go up because you're going to get that initial influx of people buying it. But now how much and how wide's the spread? Then immediately, you're going to have people panic that can't deal with the spreads. They're going to sell, and that's going to start flushing it.
Well, better question is, why would people be selling that much on something that, in theory, would go up quite a bit over time? Because a lot of companies are going to start investing into that because, well, they're going to be using SpaceX for a couple of different things.
They're going to look at it like I assume that eventually SpaceX will become one of the Mag 7. If not, then they'll make it the Mag 8, and they'll add Tesla. They'll basically put Tesla and SpaceX in there, as long as it holds true to what's going on there. But here's how this happens. So you're going to get that initial up push, and then now you're going to get short sellers saying that, no, this is not worth this, and they're going to start hammering the shit out of it, trying to push it down. They're going to keep trying to short it. And eventually, it's going to break the dam, and then it's going to flush. Because now you got people who were in, maybe they can sell. They're going to sell off because they want to get the top of the thing. You're basically the exit liquidity for some of these people. Then, over the next few weeks, it's going to drop. And then once it drops and starts to level off, that's the point where you buy for a long-term investment. Yeah. And then, because there was an IPO here a couple weeks ago, and it went from $30 to $300 in about 5 days.
Sounds about right.
Then it flushed over 2 weeks to $40, and now it's on the roll coming back up. So you can expect that most likely SpaceX will do the same thing, because for it to just keep going up is near impossible to consider. Like, there's no way. Like, look what they did with
the only reason why I would say that it will and definitely is going to go up over time, not right away, but realize it is going to go up over time because of space is the new spot where people can and now actually invest in. So eventually it will go up. When? Don't know.
Yes. But this is the dangerous thing about it is
that's the dangerous part. It will fucking go up though. That's the key part to remember. Now I will admit, I will let you in on this thing. I had a couple of family members who definitely did the investing thing, and that's like their whole job was that. Back in the 60s, my uncle Lloyd invested in Comcast.
Yep.
It was like pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
When it came on in the penny stocks.
Mm-hmm.
He invested, I think he said like 10K or something stupid like that, and he just let it sit.
Yeah.
He sold it in 2010. So you can only imagine what what
Mhm.
so that's a thing. And he said he bought 3 different stocks, and I can't remember the third one, but I remember the second one, and that was Verizon.
Yep.
And he made more than more than I care to admit off of it, because they bought like a couple different apartment buildings and a couple different other things. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing some serious investments at that point. Like, this is gonna be this will be a
That would
good
be
and
one of those things that, it would be a good one to go in, like, and when you can see it go low, and you're aware that it's like close to when it was a good buy-in,
yeah.
because I know that in more than likely like 10 years time, that shit is not going to be anywhere near that. It's going to be somewhere far higher than that.
Well, no, it will always stay roughly. It'll stay roughly between $90 and $300 is roughly where it'll always stay. Now, what's going to change that is the split, because no company, like any company that starts getting up above $400, $500, $600, it starts pulling them away from uh, people being able to invest into it. And the idea of a stock is
Yeah,
you want to
normal
keep
people, yeah.
you want to keep it in an investment range that makes sense. So they'll split the stock, a reverse split or a normal split. If it's a reverse split, they're trying to bring the price up. If it's a normal split, they're trying to bring the price down. So this way they'll probably split it and it'll always stay in that rough range, so that you'll always be able to pay about $100-ish, $200-ish for the stock. Like Tesla has reverse split before, Nvidia has reverse split before, or normal split before.
Nvidia's is
Nv-
stupid high right now.
yeah, Nvidia is on track to
Go higher.
be
It's
split.
more than likely going to go higher.
It'll get split before it goes too much higher. If it gets up to about 300-400 again, if it actually touches it, they'll do a normal split and bring it back down, which is great, because then now the shares you have are now worth more. They're valued higher, which is great. And you can now buy more. So cool. Because
I just expect with something like SpaceX, a lot of companies will use that to go back and forth into space to do lots of random space things.
yeah,
I think one of the main things that I heard about was one of the companies trying to go up and trying to collect an asteroid to bring it kind of back and mine off of it.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
So that was one of them. There's a couple of companies that are trying to do that.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Elon's got those crazy ass rockets that can land themselves. It's like, what the fuck?
I know that I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah, I'm aware that there's a couple of companies working on that shit.
Yep.
One of the fun ones that I'm aware of is the new our new space station that we're supposed to be building up there. I guess it's called Gateway or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's gonna be pretty cool. There's a lot of companies and apparently invested in it, and they're supposed to be starting on that here soon.
No telling what they're actually building up there.
Because what they're trying to do is push for robotics to be able to do most of the manufacturing for us up there.
Well, I just go back in time for a minute. Do you remember Reagan talking about Star Wars?
My grandfather actually worked on that project.
Yeah. So
I actually made parts for that shit, like a lot of parts.
Like, that's the crazy thing. His vision for Star Wars, as he called it. And I'm just sitting here going, most every flight log, I think there is what?
My great uncle worked at NASA during the time, and I will let you in on a fun fact. That thing went up in the sky.
Oh yeah.
I'm aware that thing actually is in the sky.
Yeah.
So Project Star Wars, a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, well it was fake, this and that." Okay, well, you may not have known, but that also is what stopped the Cold War technically from happening.
Yep.
Because Reagan said, "Oh no, let me go over to Borgatrov or whatever the hell his name
Yep.
was. Let me show you let me show you something that we developed. Oh, and it's in space already."
Yeah.
And he plucked a pea or something stupid like that off of Borgatrov's plate with the fucking laser from Star Wars, the project in the sky, and it's stupid accurate. Like, it's good enough that if you piss us off, we will know that you're doing something wrong, and we will just take your shit out.
It's like there's on the space shuttles there is, I think it's an 8 foot by 6 foot section that is blacklisted when every mission went up there. They said it was classified beyond top secret of what was in that small space at the back of the every shuttle that went up there. And they said,
Yep.
do you want to
Yeah,
take
well,
a wild
military-
guess? Do you want to take a wild guess at what was on that? They said anything that was beyond military capabilities was probably on that section right there.
Yep.
Because they said it was weird, because when people started doing the math on the cargo that was going up there, they said, why is there this blank space in the cargo of the ship? Every time. It wasn't a weight capacity issue. They were always underweight. But they said, but it's a Black Ops space that they said was... Only the astronauts probably knew what was on it.
Correct.
And
And
it's
you got to think most astronauts technically
were military
besides for the ones
personnel.
that came from, yes, they were military personnel. Besides for the ones that came from, like, a lot of them came from the university in my state, like Purdue, which is stupid, by the way. Every time I hear about that, I'm like, are you serious? Got a lot of astronauts from there, but they also were military people.
Yep.
And so, as far as I'm aware, the government and NASA, or military in this case, they've been basically the same thing for a long time, even though they say they're civilian arm.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
sure,
Trump
they
didn't
do
even
civilian
care anymore. He's just like, we're calling it Space Force, and I'm like, why does it
Yeah.
look like the Destiny logo? That was my first thought. I'm like,
I don't like that though. I
Wait.
kind of like the Destiny. Logo.
well, no, they call them the
it's kinda cool.
Guardians too. Go fucking
Oh,
figure.
yeah.
So I'm just saying, we're calling them Guardians. Are we getting Destiny in real life now?
You know what I meant? Like the Destiny with Stargate Destiny. I thought Stargate Destiny.
So, yeah, that's something. But yeah, now we got Space Force, and it's like, okay, we got a full military branch, and where's the fucking lightsabers? That's what I want to know.
Hey, they have found a lot of military personnel who happen to be in space.
Yep.
I don't need to remind you that there's like hundreds of personnel who aren't accounted for. Who
Yep.
apparently regularly visit space.
Yep.
Do I know anything else? No, but I am aware because I had family members working the shit.
Yeah.
So I am aware that these things were real.
I'm
So
still just trying to figure out that one. There's one video that still baffles me to this day. It's a F-18 absolutely jumping. It's one of the UFO things where the F-18 hits full afterburners trying to chase after this orb thing over the ocean. Fucking can't even get near it. And the thing just blink. Just blinks right out of its sight. And it's like, okay, an F-18 is incredibly fast. Incredibly fast. Not our fastest, but that thing moved away like it was nothing.
Right. I mean, we're talking thousands of miles an hour, of mile an hour compared to a couple hundred miles an hour.
Well, I mean, no, it was full Mach. I think it was Mach. What 1.5 is what an F-18 does? Mach 1, 2. I'd have to go get the exact.
Still not really whole. That's speed, but that's not really speed.
True. I mean, we got things that
Not
go
like-
faster, sure, 100%. But
Yeah,
still, that's
iconic.
fucking fast.
It's still blistering fast.
And I mean, we're talking the propulsion needed to move something, to blink away from that is what my physics brain just kind of goes, huh?
Well, and that's a fun fact is that, you got to remember, like our military always, it proves a lot of times, time and time again, that what they show us and what they're working on is 20 years apart.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Sometimes it's 30 years apart.
Yep. God,
Like,
just
the
think how
shit
long
that
they
they're
had.
showing us is old compared to
Oh,
the
yeah.
shit that they're using and testing.
Oh, yeah. Like, think about the SR-71
Uh-huh.
and how long it took them to
Perfect.
actually reveal that thing.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget even the B-52s and stuff like that, the stealth bombers.
Yeah,
That thing wasn't even discovered for a long time.
they kept
Them
that under.
motherfuckers thought that was a UFO for forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we left it be that way.
Yeah.
We let them think that.
Might as well. No harm, no foul on that one.
Mm-mm. Stormy, wait. I'll take you outside in a second. Give me a second.
There's a cool video of a audio clip that floats around on YouTube from a SR-71 pilot kind of talking about, some of the unclassified shit. And he's talking about how, he says one day him and his partner were up there flying, and he says we're just on a training mission, just getting flight hours on it. And he said we were somewhere over, he says we were coming over the US, and he said, we're fucking way up there at this point. And he says, and he hears this, he says, we got radios. He says, we can hear what's all going on with air traffic. And he said he hears this little Cessna call off for a ground speed check. And he's like, we're doing 110 on the ground. The controller calls back. And he says, then all of a sudden, a Learjet calls in for a ground speed check. He says it became a pissing contest. Then he says all of a sudden, he says the next one calls in, and he says it's a 7-4 flying over. They get a ground speed check. Gives the ground speed. And he says, of course, he says the fucking Navy boys that are out there flying over the desert call in on their F-16s, and he says they're doing whatever, and he says this is the point where he says I knew me and my partner were gonna be best friends, because he says all of a sudden he says I hear the radio click, and he calls in, and he says he asks for the ground speed check, and they sit there, and he says it's quiet for a moment, and he says I've got you at 2,000 miles an hour on the ground. He says, I am showing 2.4. He says, your equipment must be better than mine. And it's just like, all of a sudden, he says, not a single person called in after that. He says, for the moment, he says, I just knew it was meant to be that me and my partner were going to be best friends. He says, because I was on my way to hit the switch to do the same exact damn thing.
Yeah, because you're flying in the biggest flying dick in the world right at that point.
Yep. He said it was funny because he says we shut those Navy boys up real quick.
Real quick.
He says, yeah, they were doing 500-600 miles an hour out there over the desert. Yeah, it was cool. He says, but we basically jumped that by the time.
Those are commercial flight speeds. Come on.
He's like, we're just coasting. We're barely moving. I'm just like, damn, that's awesome.
Dang, I just got 6 sharps from a rhino.
That's awesome.
Go. That's why I like hunting, because hunting gives you just more. Especially when you have more mastery, it just gives more. There ain't nothing wrong with it.
But yeah, it goes back to, we got shit that nobody's talking about, and I'm expecting X-Wings, lightsabers, and fucking, the whole nine yards at this point. Just because, the fact that I see, like, when I start seeing some of the newer tech, and, you know, like, we talk about the special Black Hawk that they blew up raiding Bin Laden.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a brand new, we've never revealed this helicopter ever before. One goes down, and we C4'd the shit out of it because it crashed.
I mean, why would we leave anything important behind?
Exactly, but just the idea that was already made, that special stealth helicopter, and we just decided to bring it out then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody knew about it.
And it's like, okay, if you're willing to bring that out, you've got something better already. It's in testing, but you've already got something better. If you're willing to use that.
Yeah. It's like, you know, the simple fact that, you know, our nuclear subs, for instance, look at the difference between a Chinese sub and an American sub.
Mm-hmm.
The big difference is the engines that they use, right? Chinese are still using, they're trying to develop the nuclear thing. They're just not good at it, right? And why is that?
They stole all of our data.
Well, let's just not say that. But let's just go by simple fact that right now they're using diesel.
Fair.
Right? And you know what Americans use?
Nuclear.
On everything naval?
Nuclear.
We use nuclear.
Yeah.
That's why our shit can just be on water for until the fucking Earth changes over to a different climate.
Yep.
Like they could literally be chilling and waiting, or moving to a different part of the ocean really damn quick. And the messed up part is because we've been using nuclear in our military since the 60s.
Yeah, since we've really got it like under control is what I think it understands, and then everybody else has been playing catch up.
Yeah. We were like, oh shit, we could use this for power generation instead of blowing shit up. And then we started making small nuclear reactors.
I just want to know who started thinking of this shit. Like, really? Like, how did we start actually going, let's put this and this together and see what happens? Like, how did that shit happen?
Well, think of that one big change that happened. I don't want to bring up the alien part, but, you know, Roswell, when that happened, think of all the things that changed very quickly after.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, a lot of things changed very, very quickly after. Especially for Americans. At least for the American tech.
Fiber optics, can't explain that.
Right.
Kevlar doesn't really make sense. Can't really explain that.
And those things came after the Roswell crash very quickly.
But how did we reverse engineer it that quickly is the crazier part. Like, let's just go out on the limb for a moment. Let's say nuclear, Kevlar, and fiber optics. How do you reverse engineer that? That's where
that's a good question.
Like, that's where I'm kind of going. Like, I just think like Kevlar. I look at it; it's a material. Now, how do we figure out? Like, sure, we get computers that can analyze properties and stuff like that, but like, I'm trying to think from a real scientific aspect. Here's something we've never seen before. How do you?
They did that shit on paper.
Yeah, how do you reproduce that idea? And I mean, obviously,
doing it, you got to also remember who were the top like heads at the time. You know, those people were coming up with quantum physics and shit.
Yeah.
You know, people like Einstein was still alive during that.
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. I mean, these guys I probably have somewhere. I would like to say it's probably between 99 and probably 110 on my IQ. Is somewhere where I was in that range. I can't fathom somebody at 120, 130. More and less 150, 160. Like, to think how that brain...
They may think absolutely outside of the box.
Yeah, I know I'm thinking too inside the box. Like, I know I'm not thinking enough. And that's the wild part for me. It's like, I can't think of how these people were able to reverse engineer shit. if that's really it. I mean, maybe, sure, maybe we just dumb luck stumbled onto stupid shit. Sure, we could go say fuck aliens, but just for that one moment of going, how would we
Sure.
reverse engineer? Of course, then that's the same thought that also gets me in trouble when I start thinking about the pyramids. How the fuck did we do that? How the fuck did we make Damascus steel? How the shit did we build a Colosseum that still hasn't fallen down?
Here's the fun fact. You know, with those three things you just mentioned. I mean, steel. You got to remind yourself Damascus steel. When they found that, and they found Vikings with Damascus steel, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm.
And they found Viking metal with pure steel before steel was known to have actually been made. Like actually, like to be able to produce steel, you have to have quite a bit of heat coming
Yeah.
from your furnace. And to make Damascus, well, the Middle Eastern guys, they must have knew something.
Yeah.
And then they traded that technology off to, wait for it, the Asians. Because the only people who truly kept that technology going to this day was the Japanese
Mm-hmm.
and their sword making. They kept that they kept that technology literally the same. They wrote it the fuck down and kept it going. They're the only ones,
Yeah.
which is why we still have an idea of what Damascus is. Because without them, that technology would have been lost
Yep.
hundreds of years ago.
Yep. But it's just like the concrete that they used to build the Colosseums is not the
There we go.
concrete.
I was just gonna say.
The concrete, like, what the fuck is the difference between that? We can't even build a road to last 5 years, and we have buildings, and they're still walking on shit from.
They just recently did find out what type. They're trying to figure out what mixture right now of volcanic ash, the river sand that we have here, because that's the best concrete
Mhm.
as far as like pressure, and something else that they were using. They were using like crushed seashells or something like that,
Mhm.
and somehow the when water would leach into that concrete, it would repair itself.
That's wild.
And that's how the Colosseum has stayed upright to this day, is because the stuff that is in it, it finds a way to repair itself with the leaching of the calcium from the damn seashells and shit.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this: the roads in Atlanta, they need that shit like ASAP because it's fucking pothole city.
Doesn't Florida use seashells in their shit too?
I have no idea.
You could tell when you're driving in Florida, you see that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't been in Florida in 2019, yeah, because it was right before COVID. Because I think I got COVID before they actually started calling it COVID. Because the doctors couldn't find out what was wrong with me.
Ugh.
They were literally baffled, and I was basically in bed for 3.5, 4 weeks. Couldn't do shit. And I was coughing my lungs out. I felt like shit. I had a fever for consistent. It was not enough that they were worried enough to hospitalize me because they're like, it seems like it's a cold, but it's not. And they were like, but then you go back and you look at all the symptoms, COVID. 100% COVID.
Yeah, I had a temp running for a solid 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
My sense of taste never it only returned like a couple years ago,
Mm-hmm.
like 2. So I didn't have taste
That's so
for like
wild.
fucking 4 years. I was so angry, but I never got a shot.
Your smell is only 80% of what it was before COVID started? Wow.
My smell is still the same. I hate my smell. My dad, for instance, his heart trouble got extremely elevated with it.
I would imagine.
He had 8% heart, and when COVID hit, it smacked him like a rock.
That's
They put
wild.
his ass in hospital and all kinds of shit. But pyramids. They recently found out that the weathering on the pyramids does not match the time when they think that the pyramids were built.
8% of his heart was working, pumping, I believe is
8.
what.
My dad has 8% heart working.
That's insane.
8%. Normal person does not survive under 20 fucking percent. Like the average fucking human cannot survive technically too much long without fucking struggling busing just to make it fucking 5 feet under 20%. He finds a way to somehow get, just keeps going.
Now he's had bypass surgeries and shit like that at this point, right?
He would have to have a new heart.
Oh shit.
They want to try to give him a new heart, but A, the insurance didn't want to allow it, and B, the actual the doctor in Indiana we have one of the best heart health places in the world, I guess. It's called St. Mary's in Indianapolis. It's or St. Vincent's. Sorry, St. Vincent's. And it's such an extreme heart health place. Like the place is so fucking big, you can absolutely get lost.
That's wild.
Just going in the door and trying to find the place you were trying to go, you're gonna get lost in the damn place. But yeah, it's bad.
Wow.
But he finds a way. You know, he moves, he runs, he walks around.
He's tough. He's got it.
You know, he walking. But coming back to the pyramid thing, they like I said, they only recently found that the weathering does not match the dates when they say it was built.
I 100% believe it. You look at that and I'm going, we can't build buildings for shit anymore, and we've somehow built that. Got it. 100% got it.
Yeah, and I hate to bring it up, but it's apparently about somewhere between 20,000 and 15,000 years old. When he's judging by the weather, because that's generally when the last time when rain was falling in that area.
That's wild.
Because it has weathering of water weather, not wind weather, at the bottoms of the pyramids and the Sphinx.
The Sphinx is a whole other fucking monster. That thing's crazy.
Sphinx is a whole different game because the Khufu, the guy that everyone thinks that created the Great Pyramids, he technically was the one who put the head on the lion. They recently found that there was little striations of lion hair that was there before, under a bunch of stuff. So yeah, it's we're looking at some things that are far older than what we thought, or what was historically written.
Yep.
And we still really don't have any good clue of how they built the damn pyramids. Because remember, these blocks weigh 50 to 100 tons.
Yep.
And we can put that into perspective of how many cranes you might need for that. Average crane can probably do 2 tons to 5 tons. I think our biggest ones have issues moving 100 tons. Like, you gotta have all kinds of suspensions and girdles, and you freaking gotta shut down the whole freaking highway, and
it moves at the snail pace of molasses and
2 miles an hour. And remind yourself, some of these places where humans were building these things, they're a couple thousand tons.
Yep.
And they're on top of freaking mountains.
Yep.
Like Baalbek, like in in Jordan.
Yep.
Baalbek is the main stones that are beneath the Jupiter Temple there. They, in theory, weigh of estimates of 1,500 tons apiece. And they used a few of them, and there's stones underneath those big stones
That's the
that they
crazy.
put there.
Well, it's just like I don't know if it was Joe Rogan talked about it or it was somebody on Joe Rogan. They said if you actually use a special type of radar on the Amazon rainforest, there's paths and shit all in it, like a grid system of a sitter. Yeah, that's it. That's the word I was. And they said you can see it's a setup in a grid that it used to be a city, but because whatever happened, the overgrowth took it over. But it's laid out like it's fucking crazy.
Spaniards.
Like, yeah.
Spaniards. So when the Spaniards came in, they came in with disease, smallpox, shit like that.
Yep.
It killed off the local population faster than any other thing in history has ever killed off anybody, besides for the fact that they were slave trading the bitches.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, that would have been like an easy.
I mean, it was a pure fact. They were absolutely slave trading them, and look at how much destruction they caused from freaking Mexico down. You know, they made them burn their historical evidence and all kinds of stuff. You know, we're happy we have what little evidence of Mayan or Aztec or Incan heritage at all laying around. And the messed up part is where you're at, they found Mayan stuff. You know, that's where the one of the areas kind of, I think it's a little bit south of Atlanta. There's a spot where they get Mayan blue from. It's only one spot in the world. They recently found it. They're like, well, that basically states that the Mayans were absolutely in Georgia.
Hell yeah.
I mean, there's only one spot for Mayan blue, and Mayans colored a lot of things in blue.
Yeah.
So where was it getting that blue from? They only recently found where they was getting this blue from.
Unless there's somewhere else that we haven't found too. I mean, that's always.
Nope, they didn't write it down, and nobody remembers it because most people were killed off during that time. And so the fun fact is when they were doing archaeology on some of these things, and they were testing, like they were testing to figure out what the colors were, and they figured out that color. And then they started trying to figure out where, you know, certain locations of certain types of colors come from, and then they realized it only matches with one spot in the whole world. And then they found, fun fact, after they did that, they found things that seemed to be have been made by the Mayans. They built a couple mounds there, a couple terraces there. So they were doing something there.
Yeah. Do you know roughly where in Georgia?
I can't say for sure. I know that it's gonna be in Georgia somewhere. I could look it up real quick.
Well, I was just saying, if you had a rough idea, is it like, do you know if it's northern Georgia, southern Georgia? Because like I know there's some Indian reservations around in Georgia. But like I'm trying to think where. I don't know where any of the Mayan type stuff would have been.
I'll tell you here in a minute. Yeah, because they're literally saying that right now, I guess it's southeast Georgia.
Okay, so kind of in that Savannah region.
Mayans built settlement there at some point. Track, Rock Gap, Brasstown Bald.
Okay.
Yeah, they recently found that city there, and they're like, dude, what? Nakochi, Georgia. Saute Nakochi. I don't know how to fucking say it. I'm stupid. I'm just gonna screenshot this and just share it with you. Discord.
Yeah, because I am curious to see.
Yeah, and I think that was like 10 something years ago when they found that.
Imagine the
It's a pretty
history.
big thing in archaeology.
Yeah, imagine the history that we could rewrite.
I just screenshotted the place right there.
Okay.
And then if you type that up, you'd be like, "Oh, it's for this place, where they did the where's the earthworks there by the Mayans? North Georgia,
In White County. Okay.
North Georgia, maybe.
Satenochi, Georgia. All right. Let's see here.
Brasstown Bald Mountain.
Oh, it's up there
Ooh.
near. Okay, there's Blue Ridge. Hiawassee. Okay, I kind of see where we're at. So, damn, they're fucking way up north. That's cool.
Oh, and I'm related to the Knights of Templar.
That's cool.
Just to let you know, I am aware that my family was here during a certain time, and I think just a little bit, like in North Carolina or South Carolina, there's like a tower that apparently my ancestors built at one point. It
That's
was
cool.
like some kind of tower to look at the stars with,
That's neat.
and they only recently realized that it was that because it has one of the Templars' greatest things that they like moving around, hooked X's.
Wait, what now?
They
What
like
did
Mayans like to, or not Mayans, but Templars like to leave in a lot of ruins or a lot of things that they, or areas where they were at, or things that they built. They will have a hooked X on it,
Okay.
or a lot of times the um, fleur de lis, or it's like a double cross.
Yeah.
Um, as far as I'm aware, one of my family members, I'm not gonna say who they were. I'm gonna say their first name. It was William. He was here with a Leaf Erikson, and they came here to a place in Nova Scotia.
Oak Island.
I'm not mentioning nothing,
Mhm,
but I
mhm.
will admit that you have to remind yourself that there was a treasure in Jerusalem that the Knights of Templar absolutely had taken, and I'm not gonna say any fucking thing else.
This
You
treasure,
know what? One of
you
those
know.
fun treasures was a very important treasure that no one has seen in 1,000 years.
Good Covenant. Yeah.
Yep, that one. And you got to remember, by the way that they're talking about the Oak Island,
My dad's obsessed with
and as
that
far as
fucking show.
and
Oh my god.
the messed up part is that there's a Templeman or not Templeman, but a Templar setup, Templar's settlement right down the road, and there was also a Viking settlement pretty close to that. That they found like 20 years ago or something like that.
I keep telling Dad, I'm like, they're just fucking jerking your leg. If they wanted to know what was actually there, they would have found it by now. There's a
No.
reason. There's a reason they don't want you to know what's down there.
Here's the fucked up thing is that if it still was there, yes, they would have probably found stuff and this and that, but what they were finding was strange items that did come from that time period. But they've also seen, and this is where I think it's funny, is that the Christopher Columbus thing gets thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Why? Because Christopher Columbus was part of what sect of people? Rose something, Rosicrucians or something like that.
Fuck. It's been so long since I got into that
Was
history.
that was part of a Freemason network.
Yeah.
The Freemasons were also had part of the Templars. And who and what sect of people kept on coming back. There's a few different sect of people that kept on coming back because they found like items there from like 1200 AD to like 1600 AD, which is, remind yourself, many years before that area was actually settled on.
Yeah.
Like 200 years before it was settled on.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding stuff at Oak Island that could totally rewrite the American history book. You know, it just
Correct.
needs to be, the chain needs to be put together, and you could rewrite the American history.
Well, as far as I'm aware, my ancestors, I mean my blood relatives, the same last name still, they were fucking here in like 1000 AD or 1100 AD, somewhere in that range, and they kept on coming here apparently until like 1300s.
It's fucking wild.
And how did they know about this place? Because the Vikings had this famous land called Vinland. They kept on saying that there was land to the west. Big land, not these small islands that you know, that they were thinking that only existed out there. No, there was a big land. Because the Vikings apparently went as far as they found something in Minnesota that was related to the Vikings. A whole ass runestone that some jerk, when they were taking out a tree somewhere in their farm, they pulled that tree down and there was that runestone sitting underneath the tree.
That's wild.
And the runestone had Viking runes on it.
It's like, well, that just throws history out the water. Like, at this
Right.
point, it always is like this big curiosity of what actually is the damn truth now. It's like,
Oh, and I don't even want to fuck you up with even more information, but by meteorological studies, the copper that was mainly used for the Bronze era, that
mhm.
came from like that was like most, the Romans seem to have been using a lot of this copper. What's that? There's, it starts with a P, and they were like in
Wait, what?
Jerusalem area.
Palestine?
They were like in
and the Philistines?
Yeah. So, weird fact, they found out that there was a bunch of copper that they couldn't figure out where it came from. For like 100 years, they've been testing and figuring out where the hell this copper came from, because they have a lot of it everywhere. And, this bronze, there's plenty of it still in museums and still highly intact and shiny to this day, from like the Roman eras.
Yeah.
Well, they found out where that metal came from. And you're gonna think that this is fucked up.
Try me.
A lot of people thought this was fucked up, but when you test metals, technically that metal can only come from one place. The percentages of what's in that metal only comes from about one place.
It's like a
usually.
DNA code, basically, for metal.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what they found is that, there's a spot in Michigan that has a bunch of copper. Like it's like a couple islands. Yeah. So they had been wondering what these deep pits and why there was these deep pits on this island. They had recently found out that there was copper in the island, and then a couple years back, they were testing the copper and then had a match to that copper and where it was used. Bronze era.
Wow. That's
Lots
wild.
and lots of tons were somehow moved from there to freaking Jerusalem area. Riddle yourself that, Batman, because ain't nobody's figured that part out yet. All they know is they have a match for the metals.
That's crazy. That's
Because
actually
they
crazy.
were testing all kinds of mines around the areas, right? And they
Mhm.
never found a match. And then they started saying, "Screw it, we're going to test everywhere where there's damn copper."
Until you
And
find
only
it.
one place matched. Right. Only one place matched. That happened to be the copper mines there in northern Michigan, where these mines are.
That's wild.
That were dated really fucking old. They thought that the Indians were mining the shit. Nope. The Phoenicians. That's what it was. The Phoenicians.
Okay.
The Phoenicians were the crazy suckers, because if you don't know anything about the Phoenicians, they did sail.
Yeah.
They sailed a lot, apparently. No one would have guessed that them crazy suckers would have sailed across the damn ocean, no.
There's no telling what is actually right and wrong anymore. In so much of like who was here, who did this, where this came from.
Yep, because just like what we're recently finding is that humans were here long before 20,000 years ago. But that just comes down to, well, we're pretty sure that they were here. Like I was pretty positive that they were here like 50,000 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I proved my own point because they recently found that, those big armadillo things,
Yeah.
the big extinct ones that went extinct,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that you can play with in like Ark.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Well, those existed like apparently up until about 20,000 years ago, right? We didn't really know why they went extinct. We never would have thought that humans were down there in Brazil area eating them up and making fucking utensils out of them and using bowls out of them and who knows what out of them.
Yep.
Because they recently found tool marks and stuff like that that only humans do. And guess what the dating for a lot of these sites are?
Over 20.
40,000 years ago. In the White Sands National Park, they found that there's human tracks there and human activity there 22,000 years ago.
Then it's like, because then I mean, then you go off into the rabbit hole about the whole.
That was before the Ice Age.
Yeah.
That was before the Ice Age. Or
So
that
let's say
that was during the Ice Age, one might say. So how did what?
the whole like Antarctica thing, like what the fuck? They're finding they found tropical fish on that place. Of course, I mean, if you go by biblical standards, you would hear you would think tropical fish. Your mind would go to the flood. Then you go, okay, well, there's like countless religions that all account for a mass flood at some point in their thing. So like, okay, even if Christianity.
Except for the ones in the West. The ones in the West that existed during those time periods didn't record nothing of no waters and you didn't really see it. But there's a lot of areas on the European side kind of look like something happened. But that would have happened because of an ice age. Ice age would have definitely did that. There was enough water locked in the northern regions and southern regions of the world. I mean, look at how bad the ice messed up just my area. I mean, we're known as the land of lakes around here for a reason. We have hundreds of thousands of lakes.
Yeah.
And shit, we have like just around me, there's like 8,000 glacial lakes, and they're clear, like crystal clear.
That's nuts.
Because like stupid.
Because like you go out here in Georgia, you look down at any lake and you're going, nope, I ain't even fucking getting in that. No telling what the fuck is below that water.
Here you got totally different animals. I mean, these are really, really nice lakes in most cases. Like, and that's the thing is that the whole northern part of Northern America, they seen these striations from the glaciers across the whole fucking thing. Like going as far south as like almost to Tennessee. And you can kind of tell where they did that because, well, things are kind of flat in certain areas.
Yep.
And in other areas, it's nice and hilly.
That's true.
That's because them suckers done paved it flat and hilly. They left behind big rocks and all kinds of stuff. But the glaciers didn't like recede like until 13,000 years ago or 15,000 years ago. And they're finding humans here that had traveled here apparently well before that.
Yeah.
somehow crazily decided to, risk some crazy weather to get over here. And they're still finding there was possible evidence of Europeans coming from over here around that time period, like 20,000 years ago, which is why the Clovis people why their DNA doesn't match with anybody. Why it only seems to match with Europeans. Yeah, there was a lot of anomalies there. A lot of weird anomalies there. That's for sure. Our side of the world has a lot of weird things, and none of the history was kind of written down, but kept secret. For what reason, don't know.
That's
But
true.
that's just like the Ark of the Covenant,
Yep.
The only other people who say that they have it, but won't let anybody see it, is the Ethiopians.
Yeah, I was about to say the Ethiopians, because they've got the Ethiopian Bible is wild too, because
Yeah,
it's
well,
got all the Book
if
of
you look at it
Enoch
like
and all that shit in it.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's like all that shit that's in there. If you read through that, it's like, what? Hold on, my brain.
Knights of Templar had went as far south as that. And that's where they get a lot of their church building techniques from, and a couple different other things.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have really crazy churches there too that are built into the ground.
Yeah.
That are multi-story.
See, I think if you want to prove a lot of the Christianity stuff, it's Turkey lets you go look at the on the ground, go actually look at the supposed ark location, and the then the Ethiopians show you the Ark of the Covenant. That's like, I think, a definitive way. Is if you're like, okay, if it's real, then there, show it.
Yeah, and you know what they haven't did yet?
Shown it.
Yeah, and it's just like the Vatican has been saying, "Oh yeah, well we've been." No, you did. No, you haven't. Because I hate to say this, the Knights Templar left with a very, very big amount of treasure, with like 12 or 13 ships. So we're not going to say that they left with a small amount of Christian relics.
They left with a lot.
They left with a lot, because this stuff would have destroyed Christianity if it was let out, and they weren't going to allow that to happen. Knights of Templar was founded from Christianity, and for people to think that they're blasphemous is so stupid. They only were become blasphemous because the French king at the time, and this is where the Friday the 13th superstition comes around.
Yes.
Yes, I fucking know this to the heart because it's related to my family. Because I know I feel this shit every fucking time that comes around. I swear, like me and my dad will be like, on just that random time, it'll just be coming up, because I don't be looking at no calendar, man. It'll be like, shit's just off this day. What is going on? And then we'll look down and it's the 13th.
Yeah.
But so I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning in 1300 something 80 or 1400. No, 1346. There we go. King Louis at the time had owed the Knights of Templar a lot of money for protecting his people and a lot of other Europeans from going to and back and forth to Jerusalem. Because at the time, the Knights of Templar had created this fun thing called banking.
Yep.
Basically, you could give them money at one location and they would have money at another location. And you can just drop off and pick up and done.
Yep.
And you would sign a ledger and call it a day. Well, they had that system, and we kind of still use that system to this day. Well, apparently King Louis, whatever fucking number it was, his ass owed Knights Templar a lot of money. And so him and the Pope at the time had devised this plan because they were thinking that the Knights Templar were assuming too much power, which is true. They absolutely were gaining massive amount of following and people to help them in their their Christianity thing that they're trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
which was just spread the word of God
Yeah.
by the edge of sword. So, like I said, at 8 o'clock in the morning, they decided to have anybody in France and a good part of Europe, basically at any of these Templar locations. It was at 8 o'clock in the morning. They had took the French armies in there and stuff like that, and they mass murdered a lot of Knights Templar at this time, and it happened all at 8 o'clock in the morning, very swiftly, like as they were like in their sleeps and type shit.
Yep.
And apparently the Grand Master, as he was on his stake, or as he was being burned to fucking live on a stake, he said, "I'm gonna curse you. You will die. You are killing a son of God for no good reason. So I'm cursing you, and I hope you and the Pope dies." And guess what happened shortly after? Only but a few months after the Pope died. And I think it was like 6 months after fucking King died.
That's wild.
But the fun fact is that many years before that, Knights Templar were seen leaving from Scotland with a lot of artifacts or a lot of things.
You know, someday
And
some of this shit's gonna come out and they're gonna find shit. They're gonna just, it's gonna, like, you can't keep it hidden forever.
But
Like,
the Knights Templar was that good. That's the problem. Knights Templar was that good. I mean, they were the most coded, cryptic motherfuckers there ever was. You know, look at the Freemasons. They've been pretty good at holding their lips tight all these years.
mm-hmm.
They only allow some information out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Freemasons were part of, well, no, Knights Templar were part of Freemasonry. And they've been practicing that same thing apparently even to this day when for like initiation rites and stuff.
It's
But
gonna be
they've got
crazy what the
information in
next
places that no one can
50, 100 years
access
is gonna tell people when more stuff comes out, more history
Mhm.
gets figured out. You know,
And better research tools, because a lot of these places where they're trying to do these things at, like in Canada at Oak Island, why it's going on so long is because Canada is not allowing them to actually strip mine the bitch and actually get to where it needs to be. They're
See,
making them drill and do all kinds of dumb shit.
see, I thought it was just half the shit of Oak Island was they're just trying to milk the seasons because they're getting paid
No,
so much
no,
fucking money to
fuck.
do it.
You should see how much money that they're having to spend just in permits and dumb shit to Canada. And
Oh,
how
yeah.
much problems Canada is literally causing them just to be able to find this information.
And the part I'm looking at is what are the networks paying them to do this show though? Like you got to think they're making.
But you got to remember the Laguna brothers make a lot of money from Michigan. They are grape farmers. They are winemakers.
I'm gonna head
They
off.
don't need
All right,
that fucking
Austin. We'll
money.
see you
They're
later.
spending the money willingly.
That's true.
So that may not be the case. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
yes, they're making money from it, but that's not what they're there for. They're there for just like what one of my family members technically went there for.
To find
that treasure. You know, that's the thing, you know. We had a couple different presidents who wasted their whole earnings, their whole livelihood on that. You know, one of them is Grover Cleveland.
Yep.
Or Theodore Roosevelt. I'm related to Grover Cleveland.
That's cool.
My grandmother is on my mom's side is Cleveland, and they were part of the sons and daughters of the Revolution,
That's awesome.
just like my last name was, because we were here before the 1700s. We were here on the second ship that came here.
That's pretty neat.
I think it was 1646 was the number, or 47. Whenever fucking Plymouth and the other fucking two came over here. Which is how my family went from England, which I still have family members there, surprisingly enough, to here to New Zealand.
Damn.
Because apparently we had three brothers in the 1600s that decided that they had a really bad argument, apparently. And they decided to say fuck each other, and they totally went separate ways. Like, absolute separate.
Sounds like it.
And then only come to find out, fun fact, I had a family member from England who was taken in the late 1700s as a slave from Scotland and was sold as a slave in America. And he became not a slave in like 1812.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, I only recently found that group. I didn't even know that section of my family existed until I had seen some random video and seen somebody with my last name on top of the comments. I was like, okay, I'm gonna say hi to this mug. And then he had enough information that I was like, well, I have a lot of information that I was able to share with him and stuff like that, and like take pictures of it and share with him. And he was like, holy fuck, this ties to everything together now. I'm like, yep. No wonder why you guys are still cut off. You guys ain't even. You guys are like the off childs who nobody ever even realized got stolen.
So that hour, I pulled out 1.3 billion off of, or 2.3 billion off of Birch Sap.
Pretty good. I'd be pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
That's at least like,
I pulled
contestable with grinding.
Yeah, like that right there is 20,000 Birch Sap that I just got. So that put a massive dent into what I need. Because this was one of the ones that I needed over 50,000 of.
Yeah, the big number. The big boy number.
And I got 10,000 of the Birch Sap, so what does that tell you? I just need to farm all the Birch Sap. And I'll get my Ash Sap from doing this.
Yep.
So, because I got to do 3 runs of Birch. All right, so 109. Almost. Okay. Go ahead and pop all of this off.
Well, you know what's funny about the Civil War?
What?
I had members on both sides.
Wow. That had to have been awkward.
I can only imagine. Weirdly enough, there was more on the north.
Alright.
Yeah, when I found out that information, I was like, what? Eh? Uncle was showing me like ancestry.com.
Yeah.
That information was just pouring in, and I was like, oh god.
Alright, so let's get the farms taken care of. Let's get our sheets updated. Oh. Oh yeah, and I did check the Maywa's Q block. That's so sad.
You know what I'm saying? It's a parry now. More or less.
Wait, you're saying in the carry spear, that is a parry when it hits?
It reacts.
That's fucked up.
Is what I'm saying. Like if you use it right, it reacts.
Huh.
So if you see someone coming at you, you hit your Q, just as they're trying to attack you, and you'll get like a, it'll like if you have the button unlocked, it will, or the skill unlocked, it will just automatically do that.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm pretty sure Musa has it too.
Well, I don't think my Musa is awakened, so I can't go do the Q block on
Mine
that.
is. Mine's awakened. Let me switch to him real quick. Because his, I think, does the same thing with awakened. Or just, it wants to, like it has a frontal guard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same as, the actual Q guys. So it doesn't last anywhere near as long. And you can't.
Well, because the Maywa, I can hold the Q is just, it's a block.
Yeah. But you're not getting your actual DP buff from that one.
Yeah. But
Or
it is a Q block, but it's just there's no buff to it.
Right. Now hers, yeah, she actually can just hold Q and it just does a, like a dark knight thing.
Yeah.
Where on the Musa's like the Maywa's Secession's Q block.
Okay. That one I know what you're talking
the
about.
Q
now.
It just reacts to something if something hits him.
Got it. Okay.
Like even if you're holding it, like it'll come off of the protection.
Yep.
And then go
I know.
back on.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
With those, yeah, those are the reaction cues.
Okay.
So if you have it down, like it'll say like, oh, it reacts to shit. So your counter assassin, even the name itself. Let's see here what that says. Yeah. Swiftly block an attack and perform a powerful.
Yeah,
swing
retaliation stance is what this is called here, and then this is just full moon wall is the other block.
Yeah, I mentioned the full moon wall. Auto activated if attacked. So in this case, like on the Musa, if I'm just walking backwards, I can just it's gonna actively have that block on it.
Yeah.
Without hitting Q. And once he's attacked, he'll just hit the Q button and stun him. I think that's what that one is doing. Knockdown? Oh, only for PvE. What the fuck? Oh, it's useless.
As most of the party tricks are.
Yeah, so that's the Musa and Maywa, I think, are the only ones with that problem.
Yep. Because I don't see it on any other classes. All right. So let's get back to processing. Shut up. No, I don't want to share a fun secret with you. Fucking whore. Oh shit, I know what I need to do. Well...
Give a hint.
Do we go do my bosses now, or do I do them later?
Your bosses?
Yeah, I got my bosses are up now.
To get free money or not to get free money?
Well, it's more, do I get free money now, or do I get free money tonight when I come back from dinner, and then go do grinding? That's more where we're at. I think we'll do that when we get back, because I'll bring my, I'll move my, guardian back from Dovinkrid. Oh, because this 115, I want to go get some shit done before, I go stuff my face full of food. So let's grab our gear and let's take a update on our process stuff here. Cause we're moving on up. We got stuff happening now.
Have you processed any of it up yet? Or waiting still?
Waiting. The only thing I've done was I did some golden hand elixirs just so I could have the daily Imperial Alchemy done. Okay, so let's take a look. So
I took a shot at you.
we did. Let's see here. Where is the sheet? There it is. Okay. So bloods. We did wolves for an hour, so wolves are now at 61,001. That's a really weird number. I now need 28,000. Okay. And then we did birch sap, which is... There it is. Birch sap. We're now at 114,600. We need 53,000 more of it. Ash sap is now at 110,800. 57,000 more of it. Huh? Hold on. Oh, I need 2.5 more gaps. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was sitting here looking at it going, huh? Why? How am I? Okay, yeah. Birch sap. And not that it matters, but we'll update pine is now at 37,501. All right. So we've still got quite a bit of grinding to do, obviously. We got 3.7 more rounds of birch sap. But at that 20k a pop, if we can get another run or two like that, that'll cut it down. I mean, it's still 3 runs at that point, but if I can do another couple birch saps where I can run it at that level, we'll be pretty good there. I'm thinking tonight we'll do we'll probably do that, and let's see, because I gotta look at energy, because we're starting to actually, it's not that we're going through them that fast, like we still got plenty of characters, but it's like I gotta reposition from bear, because I'm basically super heavy in bear.
Yeah, you had a whole bunch of people with bear. Makes sense though, you need a lot from bear.
Yeah. So I can move you from Sandgrain. We can move the archer up there. I can move the shy. I've got the tamer still. The witch has energy that we can use, and I've got the warrior. So I've got 4 classes still that are absolutely, and I've also got the ninja too I can move up. And the Wukong. I'm still kind of hung up on the Mystic. I got the Zerker. Try not to uproot everybody. Now, I know I'm going to have to do a large chunk of gathering at Bear, and we're going to do another run. Probably Sunday, I will do a 3-hour degen run. Where we'll use all the buffs again.
All of them.
Yep. And try to pull out another 70, 80,000. Hopefully this time I don't get trolled by somebody. Because he was being a dick for a few minutes. Not that it made that big of a difference, but I probably could have pushed almost 80,000 if he wasn't stunning me for like 6 fucking minutes. And then me having to kill him twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have. Yep, he would have been a dead man.
I killed him once and then he came back. That's when I knew I had a problem. All right. So let's move. Let's move you to. Move you to Valia. And then we're going to bring.
Good boy, Star Wars. Good boys.
We're going to bring you up here to Valia. And for right now, since we're not doing that. We'll bring you to Valia. I've got so many characters now in Valia. And most of them have spent energy at this point. Like, we're waiting for them to recharge.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. Unless you, switch to them and give them energy every now and then.
Yeah, well, I'm mostly processing, so that makes it a lot harder. Oh yeah, I need to turn Agris on. That I did use Agris. Edit. I did use Agris. I just don't remember what I used because I didn't write it down. So yes, Agris. Which is fine. I don't really give a shit because I mean, Agris is just being completely consumed for gathering anyway, so it's not like I need to track it to the T. So for sure tonight we'll do we'll do 1 full hour on Birch. I might try to do another hour. We might try to do
Stormy?
2 hours on Birch, maybe an hour on Wolves with the Guardian. But for some reason, the last couple nights, I've been like 30 minutes behind my schedule for whatever fucking reason. Can't figure out why it's taking me so long to spool up. Because like I got on at like 5:05, and I was finishing up hour 2 at like 7:40, and I'm like, why? I
Were
I
you
should have
goofing
been
around in between the hour?
Not really. That's the fucked up part. Like I don't remember 40 minutes just flushing by. So we're gonna try to get.
Are you having ADHD temporal problems?
No,
Uh,
I mean, I was blasting node to node to node pretty consistently, which is weird.
Well, you have a discrepancy of a whole damn 35 minutes right there. One might say.
Yeah, well, I just don't know where it went. Like, I get it takes like a minute or two to get the stream up, but fuck.
Did you get did you get kidnapped by aliens?
Probably. For
That's
40
too much
minutes.
time, man. That's too much time.
Yeah. But I mean, I thought I got to grinding pretty quick, and then I thought I got over to
1 second.
hunting pretty quick. Whatever.
Yeah.
We've got it though. It's gonna be a grind, regardless.
I think he's gonna do a dookie, Dad.
So we'll knock out another 20. I might be able to get that down to where the Birch is almost done. So we'll see. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. We'll be back on after dinner and continue on the grind. Y'all enjoy your afternoons. Don't party too hard, and we'll see y'all here in a little while.